was as good as it got me at Plymouth. And there's this really cheesy cover band doing these old songs, whatever. Anyway, so, we had a 74 Ford van that my dad had to drive because even though the driving age is real young in Idaho, it's mostly on farms and stuff. And so, anyway, my dad drove us in this 74 Ford van to this tennis court dance thing, right? Broad daylight and everything, and I was just in panic mode. My mom we'd kind of done that. My mom was going to show me how to dance kind of thing. Really awkward. You're like, nobody's, ever going to say anything about this or they die, kind of thing and everything. And so we get to the dance, and I had no clue what to do with myself or this whole thing. And I just thought this is kind of what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go to a dance at some point in life or whatever. I mean, I didn't know what to do with myself. So it had this, there was like a faster kind of dance, and I probably had my hands in my pockets, I'm just kind of going like that a little bit, and guys kind of go like that, and girls kind of move their arms a little bit like that, because they're so cool, and they do that and everything. And so then it was a slow dance, which was what I was hoping there wouldn't be one the whole night. I'm like, no, slow dances, please. Darn, second dance. So go slow dance. I'm like, why? I mean, this could have, a half hour, and then I could have sprained a hamstring or something. Like gotta go. Oh, they called that. But slow songs. So we're dancing, and we're probably. Hey, come up here real quick. We're probably about like this. About like that, and I was as far from her as I could possibly be. And at one point, I think maybe my foot touched hers. My foot probably touched her foot or something like that, and I began to sweat profusely. Like, maybe our knees bumped somehow or something like that. I might have stepped on a tennis ball or something. So I'm about to say, seriously, I'm kind of freaking out. And I'm about to say, maybe we're a little too close. I'm trying to figure out how to say that in a sensitive way, whatever. And she beats me to the punch. She says, we could dance a little bit closer, And nothing could have prepared me for that emergency. And nothing could have. And I said back to her totally, sincerely, I said, I don't think we can, Like it seemed impossible to me that we could dance. Anyway, so then it was kind of over. She kind of picked up that, I was a total dork, and so that was the end of my end of everything relational in my life for 20 years kind of thing. So anyway, so grateful that God did what He did and everything, and all on the way and everything. And of course, I was interested in people and all that stuff and everything. It wasn't like something in me died that day. No. I just it was just another embarrassing moment in high school. I'm so glad high school's done. Can I get an amen about that? Amen. Yeah. Thank you, Jesus. It was so good. So good. My dad said to me once. He said, "Son, people are going to tell you high school is the best years of your life. They're lying." They're lying. And I was like, thank you, Dad. That gives me hope. That's great. And, some of you, maybe it was and everything, but for a lot of us it wasn't. Anyway, so here we are. Very excited about where we're going. I'm very excited about what God's doing. Very excited about what's happening in so many the lives tonight and what it is that God's doing. And I want to thank you again so much for saying, I'm going to take Friday night and give it to Jesus. I'm going to gather together with some other believers and kind of do this. Some of you, this is the way life has been for you for a long time, and you don't know what you would do if you weren't at a church thing. You're like, I'm just so grateful there's an alternative, so I'm not doing what I shouldn't be doing. Some of you here tonight are going, I don't know even why I'm here. I should be at a party, and you're kind of on the other side of that. We have everything, the whole spectrum here at CCF on a Friday night, and I love that. I'm grateful for that because every one of us, Ecclesiastes says that God has set eternity in the heart of man. God has created us with this eternal thing inside of us, and that eternal thing is this thing that's supposed to connect with He who has existed and will exist for eternity, and that's God. And so here we are with the opportunity to do that, no matter what our background is and perspective is, and I love that. And we're going to be moving into some stuff that's exciting as we keep going this semester, and all that God has in store. And so last week we talked about we believe in Jesus and kind of what that means a little bit. We just have a little bit of time to spend on this stuff. We can't get crazy deep into it in just a bit of time, but we're kind of touching on this stuff a little bit. And tonight we believe in you. And I want you to know that. I want you to know that we believe Living Faith Fellowship, the people that are here tonight, our staff at Campus Christian Fellowship, we believe in you. We believe in you. And I guess if for no other reason you can look at a church budget and go, you're crazy to spend any money on campus ministry. The offering tonight, if everybody here gave 10% of their income, it would be zero, right? or maybe negative. You go, wait, this cost me $20,000 this year, and so I'm going to take $20 from the offering, and then we're even in this whole thing. That makes sense. And so, take up an offering. I'll take up something here because God's got it. So no matter what we say in an offering that might be convincing about what percentage. I mean, if we talk to you and give 100% here tonight, in an offering somehow or whatever, it'd still be real small because 100% is zero is about the same as 10% is zero, which is about the same as 0% of zero, which is about zero. So you get the idea. But as a church, as a ministry that began as a campus ministry, we have a church here that full of people that have been transformed, largely during the midst of their college experience, that look back on their time at WSU or U of I and say, look what it is, look what God did in my life. I can't believe what God did in my life. He touched my life in such a profound way. I'm just blown away by it. And I can say with a whole lot of other people that as I look back at the greatest things that have happened in my life, they've happened because of what God has done in my life. And so much of that really began to roll forward when I was a college student and started trying to go, I guess I got to figure this out. I was blessed to have a great upbringing, but it just kind of gives some perspective. But when it's all said and done, no one can give you, no one can pass on to you. You can't really inherit a relationship with Jesus. Somebody who's close to you can help, can impact you, can affect you. It's sort of like the wind. It can kind of, there can be some effect a little bit, but at some point you've got to sort of raise your own sails and begin to search something that you've never even known. As God takes you over a horizon and what you've seen and experienced before, and you're out on an adventure on your own, saying, I guess I need to kind of figure out what this is really about, what this is really like, and that's the adventure you have before you. And that's my testimony. One night, this is sort of the end of the whole thing, but one night about 3 a.m. on a Friday night after CCF, right over by that pillar, in about 1996, right over there, about 3 a.m., God just really kind of did this sort of, put kind of this big underline, period, bold, italics kind of thing on what he was doing in me. And I remember for the first time really having tears coming down my face and repentance as God was dealing with the issues in my heart. It was so beautiful. It was so crazy beautiful. Praying there with Pastor Phil and a good friend of mine named Dan Akins, and so grateful for what God did. And as a church, you're surrounded by people at Living Faith Fellowship anyway who can look at you and maybe have a sense of destiny for you and God and what He has for you, and more faith maybe even for you than you have and what it is that God has for you. Because you can look back at your own life and say, I'm so grateful for what God has done. And if right now you kind of are going, I've been going through the emotions for a long time, and is there really a greater reality on this for me? The answer is yes. And you got a whole bunch of people who are willing to say, let's put a big chunk of a budget in what we're doing. Let's put staff on church salary, whatever, to help make all this happen, because we radically, phenomenally believe in what it is that God can do in and through for a college student as their life is transformed and begin to set the world on fire for Jesus Christ. It happened 2,000 years ago with some guys called disciples, 12 men, and it continues to happen today. We've got people over in the other building right now. This is the first Friday of the month, and we have 24-hour prayer on that first Friday. We have people on their faces right now praying over our communities, over our church ministries, over our campuses, that God would set something ablaze, that we'd be able to look back at it and say, God did something profound, and we believe in you. We believe in you. I remember when I was young, my sisters were fast runners and pretty cool to see, like very fast. And from a young age, it's kind of amazing to watch. My sister, we moved to school. My sister was 7. It was field day, And when she got there, after we did our registration and everything, the field day was over except for the 8th grade boys 100-yard dash. And she was a 7th grade girl. And one of the teachers had the ridiculous idea of trying to include this new girl. Oh, well, everything's done, but you could run with the 8th grade boys, you know. And you're like, I mean, stupid, you know, idea. And that night, you know, like, what an interesting way to start things. That night when we got around the table back at home, and Dad said, how was the day? My sister, 7th grade girl, had a blue ribbon because she beat all the 8th grade boys in the 100-yard dash. She was the most popular person in the school at that moment. All the girls ran around her, best friend, you know, and they were like, oh, we love you, and everything, and the guys like, you know, and everything. Guys are running laps, getting faster at the, you know, even as it's all wrapping up. It's amazing. So my sister's crazy quick, and I remember one of my sisters had a teacher that really kind of sort of stepped into her life. He's a Christian guy, awesome guy. It wasn't inappropriate at all, but he just said, hey, you're fast, and God made you fast. And you need to believe that and understand that and do that. And she had no confidence at all, really, and kind of ran a little bit weird and everything, but she was fast. And she ended up getting college scholarship and being All-American and all that stuff and everything. And I remember watching that happen and going, there's a power in someone besides your mom and dad, people who are, like, supposed to, right? There's a power in somebody believing in you who looks at you and says, outside of, I'm supposed to do this, able to look in your life and say, there's something great inside of you. There's something great inside of you. And not saying that because it's supposed to or, you know, related to you, and so that's supposed to come up somewhere, or, you know, if I'm going to be a decent parent, at some point I got to say, you know, you can do a lot with your life. I have no idea what, but, you know, somewhere there's a talent in there, you know, and we just need to find it, you know, and here we, you know, at some point, whatever, you know. And some of us have had conversations like that, you know. But there's greatness inside of you. There's greatness inside of you. Greatness inside of you. In the midst of all this confusion and everything, I want you to remember that there's destiny written in your heart, and God has something great for you. We got a little skit to kind of help illustrate that real quick, and wrap things up for just a moment.
There you are. Haven't seen you in days.
Hi, Roger.
So, this dingy basement's where you've been the last few weeks, huh? I wonder why you become so antisocial. It's like a dungeon down here. No sunlight or anything. It's kind of depressing, huh?
Yeah, sure.
Tom, do you know what day it is?
It's Mother's birthday, isn't it?
How would I know when your mom's birthday is? No, it's the first day of the fair. Everyone's gonna be there, and people are asking me about you. It's gonna be funnel cake. Mary's gonna be there. Mary's been asking about you. I heard she said she'd let you buy her cotton candy and ride the Ferris wheel with her. Maybe she'd be able to get past the fact you've taken up permanent residency in your parents' basement. Thomas Edison. Life is passing you by. Is this where you want to be in 5 years, shriveling away underground?
Roger, I am on the verge of a breakthrough.
That's what you told me 2 weeks ago after the last 4 failed. What happened to that one?
Well,
Tom,
it didn't work.
Do you know the definition of insanity? It's doing the same thing over and over, expecting to see a different result.
Well, this is different. Each of the past 12 times...
12 times? So this is number 13, right? Well, that's hopeful. Come on, what's the big deal?
The big deal is a world with incandescent light. No longer would we have to rely on flickering candlelight. That is both dangerous and, quite frankly, difficult to see by. I mean, that Ferris wheel that Mary wants to ride, it could be lit up. Man would have access to light at the flick of a switch. It would revolutionize the world.
Yeah, that's rich. Here you are laboring away underground with some quest for some fantasy light. Let me remind you that sunlight's outside. You're welcome to join us after you abandon this silly little dream. Goodbye, Tom.
see that bicycle I was working on today?
No?
Well, the Peterson kids brought it in. It was their dad's bike. They were jumping back and forth across the creek, and then one of them crashed it, broke the whole front axle in half. And they're begging me to fix it before their dad gets home tomorrow.
Yeah, well, you should have seen that Miss Little today. She was furious because her bicycle chain got oil all over her new dress. She was demanding that I lubricate it with something other than oil.
Oh, gosh. I love our job. Well, good night, Wilbur. Could you turn off the light?
Sorry, Orville. I got some ideas that I really want to get down on paper right here.
Well, if it's that 3-geared bicycle we've been talking about, I'll help you with it in the morning. Just kill the light.
No, it's not a bike.
We don't do anything else than bicycles. Unless you're back on that crazy unicycle scheme. Pretty sure those are completely impossible to ride, and only a fool would ever want to try.
No. It's this.
What is that? Some sort of bunk bed? You know I'm afraid of heights.
No, it's not a bunk bed. Look at it. Okay, look. It's a flying machine.
Come on. I like the bunk bed idea better. Assuming you built it adult-sized.
Come on, like, seriously though, look. Like, there are the wings. Do you see the wings? And then it's
We
powered.
build bicycles. We're good at it. We've made a name for ourselves.
Orville, bicycles are nothing compared to this. We can do this.
No. Stick to the stuff you know. If you want to be cool, follow one simple rule. Don't mess with the flow, no. Stick to the status quo.
But Orville, I believe I can fly.
You're delusional.
I believe I can touch the sky.
Impossible.
I think about it every night and every day.
The night part is my problem.
I spread my wings and fly away.
You're crazy.
I
Go to bed.
believe I can soar.
Wow, I didn't think I was going to make it.
Are you headed to Spokane too?
Yep, I'm off to my first year of college.
Good for you. I'm actually a professor of British literature at the University of Idaho.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to Washington State University. That's pretty close, isn't it?
Yes, it's very close.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm Addison Wright, by the way.
Oh, pleasure to meet you. I'm Dr. Laura Kelvin.
So, since you're a professor, do you have any advice to give me for my first year of college?
What would you like to know?
Well, of course I want to do well in school and make good grades, but I also want to make good friends that'll help me get closer to God.
Excuse me?
Well, I don't know. I feel like my life has been such a mess. Like, I really need to get involved in church and make great Christian friends and really take my relationship with Jesus more seriously.
And you want to do this all while balancing your studies?
Well, yeah.
Well, from my experience, students who are involved in activities other than school tend to be unsuccessful in class.
Well, I figure that if I manage my time well,
What's your major?
I want to double major in pre-med and Chinese.
Sounds to me like you have enough on your plate without adding any extracurricular activities. My advice to you would be to drop this religious goal and focus on what will actually be pertinent to your future career.
Well, thanks for the advice.
Of course. Anything I can do to help. It was nice meeting you, Addison.
Yeah, you too. Is it really that impossible, God?
possible for it to happen? Is it possible to find the destiny that God has for you and him and in the midst of all this stuff with school and everything? And absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. God has so much for each and every person here. So much. And there's going to be amazing discoveries made by people here. There's going to be families and religious heritage that his families represent. It's going to be rewritten because of what happens during the time that the student is here. There are people here that begin something that's needed to happen in families that hasn't happened yet, that God's going to use. He's going to launch, and amazing things are going to take place. Amazing things are going to take place. Part of what needs to happen on a college campus, it's just kind of the way that it is there's supposed to be a certain amount of craziness and everything, and we've kind of talked a little bit about it's really important who we're connected with as we embrace a little bit of craziness and adventure and all of that. And sometimes we have this idea that walking with God is going to be a little bit on the boring side of it all, and really what's ahead. And part of what we want to communicate to you as we say we believe in you and all that God has for you is that there is an adventure ahead of you that you haven't even been able to begin to process yet, because God has so much in store. God has so much in store for you. So a couple of videos for you to watch here. I just kind of gotten infatuated with this just a little bit, I guess, and this is going to look maybe just a tiny bit familiar. But enjoy this here for just a moment. We'll kind of set this up as we kind of go. So the first video, you guys, go ahead.
2, 1, 0!
I can't do it.
2, 1, 0!
I don't even want to jump.
2, 1, 0!
I don't want to do it.
3, 2, 1, 0.
I don't want to do it.
Put the other hand on the rope.
No, I don't.
Take 6-inch step to the right. Just not right there on the edge. Just like that.
Honey, I don't want to do it.
Put the 2 hands on the rope. You know I love you, right?
Oh, please don't push me off. Please
I'm
don't.
right. I am not. I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm not going to push you. I'm not going to push you. But if you stand here for more than 10 more seconds, I will. 3, 2. Hey. What'd she say? I just got dumped. Was it worth it?
Now, the reason that's funny is because it didn't happen to you, right? All right, so it's a 400-foot swing, and 400-foot swing, and you look at that and you go, now who would do that? You know, who would jump in the first place? Who would push the girlfriend off that in the second? Okay, now a little bit of backstory. Watch some of the backstory here. Let's see what's happening.
Anyways, follow me on Facebook,
Not
Twitter,
that one.
and Instagram
Sorry.
if you want to know what's going on.
Yep. Sorry. Behind the scenes.
I'm here with Scotty and Green, Brian
Nope,
and
not
Black,
that one.
and
Sorry.
they were the
Wait.
ones.
That's the last one. That one, sorry, before the push. You got that? You get that one. We believe you can fly. Don't have it? Okay, just go to, can you go to before the push? Just pull it up. If it's gonna take too long, Jason, I'll just kind of lay it out. That's okay. Nope. Okay, great. This girl is really interesting. You kind of watch the interview, okay, before the push. She was saying, "I'm going to do this." They're just kind of interviewing her before all this happened, and she's been preparing for this for 3 days. This was kind of this big deal to set all this up and everything, and she's been waiting her turn for 3 days. And she said, "I'm finally going to do this, but I'm terrified." She did the arch one that we saw a couple weeks ago. She did that one and everything, but this one is so much bigger that she's terrified of the whole thing. And she's, 3 days going to wait for this, and I need to do this, and I'm really excited. And they're going, "Why?" And she goes, "Well, peer pressure, but also I know that I really want to do this, and it's going to be great." And so I'm kind of terrified. So then her boyfriend pushes her off, okay, and everything. And then they show this. Then what has to happen is they climb up the rope, back up the rocks, up to the top. It takes about 20 minutes for them. They're all pretty accomplished climbers and all this. Climb up to the top, and it shows the reunion with her boyfriend, which is really you're kind of going, what's going to happen here? And he's like, you did it, honey, you did it. And she's really excited. He goes, on the scale of 1 to 10, how broke up are we? And she goes, 9.5. Maybe 9.9, whatever. And but she actually ends up thanking him. She goes, I wish I'd done it on my own and everything, but you knew that I wanted it and all this stuff and everything. It's great. But you didn't see at the end of the first one after he pushes her and he's going, I just got dumped and everything, one of the other guys that's up there says, can I have her phone number? He's pretty excited about that. All right. Now, so you look at all this and everything, you go, this is crazy and all this stuff, but now just a little bit more of the backstory. So now roll another one, Jason, real quick, and so you can kind of see what's going on here. Yep, thank you.
I'm here with Scotty in green, Brian in black, and they were the ones that made this rope swing happen. As far as Brian was actually the first one to ever jump off it. You guys want to just kind of tell us about what you guys do and your kind of experience and whatnot? Because obviously this isn't something you do with a bunch of little friends who've never done anything like this.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've been doing this type of work for many, many years, day in and day out, rigging all the time, really knowing our systems, knowing the limitations of the gear we're using. So it's really important to be aware of those factors and not to just be doing this, haphazardly on your own, just with some ghetto materials.
So the way that the rope jump works is you'll swing out into open space and then effectively be hanging in the middle of this Tyrolean that we have set up right here. And we're going to pull the master point to the left side manually. So there's going to have to be about 3 people stationed on the left side of the rope jump and 1 or 2 people stationed on the right side of the rope jump. And once we pull you over, you're going to attach your senders to the static rope that's going to be hanging, and then physically detach yourself from the jumping rope. What that will allow us to do is while you're climbing up the rope, we can reset the jump for another jumper.
Your 2 main lines are going to come off of this, like the 2 jump ropes are tied there. On your outer holes on your ringing plate, you're going to have that secured out to the sides to keep it centered. Right. This one will be tied off with a knot. This one will be with a degree, so it's adjustable. That's a really clean setup. It slides really nicely. And then with these main lines going across too, we can put a sleeve over it too, so it doesn't have any sort of abrasion on the line itself.
I like that. So we've got some glue-in bolts here, and these are actually bolts for a high line setup, but we can actually use that high line, and at the center of that high line, we rig the point for our rope swing. And each of these bolts are solid steel, rated to about 10,000 pounds each, and we're going to equalize 4 of them. And so together they'll be holding the weight of the line. The line itself is dynamic, so it absorbs a lot of the shock of the jumper, and so we actually do get a considerable amount of free fall on this jump. But with the redundancy of everything that we're using, it's going to be a safe rig.
If someone wanted to hire you guys or contact you guys, where do I find out about you guys?
I have a website, slacklinemedia.com. On that website, I have a contact section, so you can email me or contact me on Facebook or call me on my cell phone.
There you go. All right, thanks, Jason. Just call him on his cell phone if you want to get something like that set up as well. You see what goes into that? All right, they've got these 4 anchors, 10,000 pounds each. All this. There's a lot that goes into that. Part of what they're trying to do with this behind-the-scenes thing is to keep people from trying to do this and be stupid, right? They're trying. This is a huge, huge deal, and everything. And what I want to encourage you in all of this, as we look at this, what's the point of all that? Why is that important? How's that relevant to me? As you look at the adventure that's in front of you, can challenge you tonight, encourage you tonight, as we say we believe in you. Believe in you, that you need to do this right. This will be the most phenomenal adventure, the craziest, greatest adventure that you've ever seen. As you do it the way that this instruction manual, owner's manual for our lives, so to speak, lays it out. You got this to do once, and this is the way to do it. And if you do it that way, all right, if you do it the right way, you follow the plan of God for you and what He's got for you, it will be crazy, great, amazing. Disastrous otherwise. It could be safe and guarded and wasted on the one hand. It could be adventurous and disastrous and bring you to an untimely end in another. We look at the 3 fundamental questions of life, and they're going to come up over and over again in some of the classes you've got. And some people make a list of 4, but they're where am I from? Why am I here? Where am I going? And the answer to those 3 questions as we look at how am I supposed to live this life really are just kind of laid out here. They're right here. The lack of answers drives people nuts. People have these answers that determine how they live in the whole thing. Or I don't know, and so I'm going to live this way. It doesn't really matter and all this stuff. But we all kind of have a philosophy that we take toward all this, and it dictates how we live. It dictates the risk that we take. It dictates the way that we're relating to other people. It dictates the way that we approach every single day, the major that we've got, the relationships that we have around us, friends, family, all that stuff. As we look at all this stuff, some of us have written a bunch of this stuff off because we're going, it doesn't matter. And God's got a plan here. And when you're anchored to something that'll support tens of thousands of, not pounds, but tons, that this anchor that you can dangle planets from and watch them spin, there's an adventure and a safety that comes in that at the same time that's phenomenal. At the last book, the last chapter, so to speak, I guess, in this, it tells us how this looks. It's Revelation 4:11. It says this, "Thou art worthy." This is King James style here, all right? "Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power. For thou hast created all things, and for thy pleasure they are and were created." As the band comes up tonight, I begin to prepare to spend some time in worship and song. I tell you that we believe in you. God believes in you. And this is what this is all about. I think perhaps the great delusion of atheism, as I've looked at all this stuff and everything, isn't so much that people are going, I don't believe in God, as much as people are going, I don't know that God believes in me. I don't know that he cares. I don't know that God believes in me. I don't know that God is really watching all this. I don't think he's... When you know that he believes in you, then all of a sudden something could take off in your heart where you can say, I believe in him in a way that you never could otherwise. The answer to those questions is found there. We're created to put a smile on his face. We are created to put a smile on his face. Suzanne mentioned earlier sometimes a fantasy that some of us live in, and there's no place that is more evident than in beer commercials where you've got an average or below average guy that's being pursued by a supermodel, all right? Now, women look at that and they go, that's ridiculous. And men look at that and they go, that is amazing. You know, and I don't understand how on earth that provokes men to consumer behavior of some sort. It's just really interesting. You go, we are stupid beings, you know? I mean, that would sell beer or whatever, right? You know what I'm saying? These guys gathered around on a hike and they're all, you know, at least 40 pounds overweight. And they look like they've got the IQ of a poorly developed Neanderthal, you know, and everything. Can't even cook for themselves. And then the Swedish bikini teams, parachutes in bikinis, and somehow that's like, it can happen, guys. You know, I don't understand the confusion there, but somehow people change their behavior based on that stuff. In our fantasy, someone way beyond what we really deserve is interested in us, right? That's the power of even Jane Austen, and what she does. Jane Austen has this guy worth billions of pounds or whatever, dollar, whatever, anyway, that finds this kind of average girl. Not that Keira Knightley is average. You know, I guess she almost lost the role because she's too beautiful. You go, yeah, okay, yeah, figures. Anyway, right? So somehow this average country girl catches the eye of this rich guy that owns half of the planet, you know, whatever. And Jane Austen touches on something in that's touched on in a beer commercial, that's touched on over and over again in life, and that is that somewhere in us, we want to capture the attention of someone way beyond us. And back to that scripture again. And for his pleasure, we are and were created. And we, in the midst of our great confusion and despair sometimes in life, need to be reminded that someone way beyond us is absolutely captivated by us. And we have all his attention. And In fact, the reason that we exist, each of us, is because each of us uniquely can put a smile on his face the way nobody else can. You bring pleasure to the God of all gods, the creator of all things. He is infatuated with you. Life isn't about you on the one hand. On the other hand, God is absolutely caught up in you. And that's going to be part of the theme that we build on as we go into Big Weekend. There's no greater purpose than that. There is no greater purpose than that. And that's what he sees in you. Jesus, I ask tonight, as we're gathered here, that you would awaken in each one of us something that's slumbering or maybe even dead in some of us here tonight. Where there isn't even hope that could be why we're here. God, we ask that hope would rise tonight. We ask tonight that you would give us faith in what it is that you say about us, that you would help us to somehow grasp and understand what this is all about and what we mean to you. And a life that's meaningless otherwise, we're found in you. God, the question was asked if we could say one thing to our son, what would it be? And God, here tonight, there's an opportunity for something to be spoken to your son or your daughter. One thing. God, I ask that there would be an awareness that comes, that begins to rise, that says, you're not an accident,